a small town in the heart of Texas lived the Johnson family. Their life, while full of love and warmth, was also bound by routines. Every day, James and Sarah Johnson worked long hours to keep their family afloat. Their home was modest and they lived simply. Yet, there was a sense of limitation, an invisible wall that kept them from achieving the dreams they once had. James worked as a mechanic in a small local garage, his back aching from years of bending over rusty engines. Sarah worked long hours at a factory that made clothing for a department store chain. They had everything they needed, food on the table, a roof over their heads, but their dreams of something bigger felt just out of reach. One evening, after a long day, James sighed as he sat beside Sarah, who was finishing a dress for a customer. "I wish I could give them more, Sarah," he said, his voice thick with emotion. One day, a letter arrived from the local high school. It was an invitation for their son, Ethan, to apply for a scholarship to study at a prestigious school in the city. The scholarship was an opportunity they had never imagined for their family. James and Sarah looked at each other, their hearts full of hope and fear at the same time. But there was one catch. The application fee was too high. They had no savings left, and borrowing money felt like a last resort. With no other choice, James and Sarah made a heart-wrenching decision. They would sell everything they could. James sold his prized tools, his only means of work. Sarah parted with her sewing machine. They sold their small television, their only form of entertainment. Every item they let go felt like another piece of their comfort zone slipping away. They were risking everything. But for their children, it was worth it. The day came to pay the application fee. It was their last dime, and with a heart full of hope, Ethan set off to the school, carrying the fee with him. James and Sarah watched him go, knowing they had given everything they could. The future was uncertain, but they were no longer prisoners to their comfort zone. As Ethan walked down the road, Sarah squeezed James's hand and whispered, "We've done all we can. Now it's in his hands." Weeks passed in silence. The waiting was unbearable. James and Sarah kept their emotions hidden, focusing on their daily routines, but each day felt heavier than the last. They couldn't help but wonder if their sacrifices would amount to anything. Then one day, the letter arrived. It was the news they had prayed for. Ethan had been accepted. The scholarship was his. The family had done it. They had taken the risk and stepped out of their comfort zone. And now, the future was brighter than they ever imagined. The sacrifices had not been in vain. Tears filled their eyes as they hugged each other. The weight of everything they had given up, suddenly worth it. The day came for Ethan to leave for the city. As they said their goodbyes, James and Sarah stood at the doorstep, watching their son drive away to chase his dreams. Their hearts ached, but they knew it was the right thing. They had given him everything they could, their love, their sacrifice, their hope. As the car drove away, James turned to Sarah and whispered, "We didn't just give him a scholarship, we gave him a chance." Years passed and Ethan thrived. He graduated from college, secured a great job, and eventually came back to Texas, not just to visit, but to bring his parents into a new life they had only dreamed of. He built them a new house, one full of comfort, but with a deeper sense of purpose. A house that was a symbol of everything they had given for him. When they asked him what inspired his success, he always said, "It wasn't just the scholarship. It was the love and sacrifice of my parents. They stepped out of their comfort zone to give me a chance, and that's what made all the difference." The Johnson family's story is a reminder that sometimes the greatest sacrifices lead to the most beautiful outcomes. By stepping outside their comfort zone, they didn't just change their own lives. They gave their children the wings to fly and a future filled with hope.